One of the important topic of ethical issues in bioethics are the human cloning. Still now we discussed about the other important biological issues like abortion, euthanasia, then eugenics in our previous class. Now today we will be starting with human cloning. Now human cloning, we all know that the concept of cloning is based on the production of an identical human being or any animals or any organism identical to what is already present. Okay, the whole phenomenon of human cloning is very important. It is a revolutionary invention in the history of biological sciences. Then all this the phenomenon of human cloning also exhibits important biological aspects. All these things are discovered in a new concept was considered while human cloning. Okay, but everything has pros and cons. Everything has benefits as well as limitations. So this human cloning is also opposed by many bioethicists. Okay, now let us discuss about the things. Human cloning is the scientific production of an identical human cell, tissue, or entire body. That means entire body can be identical body is being synthesized or is being constructed when human cloning is being considered. Okay, now how they are opposed by some people. First of all, I'm telling about the clauses which are in support of the human cloning. Okay, some bioethist has told that bioethicist has support human cloning. uh, See the benefits of regenerative medicine in terms of organ or tissue donation. This would eliminate the risk of a body rejecting a transplant and the issue of scarcity of organs and tissues to be donated. Okay, that means what happened? When cloning things came into the picture, the discovery of clones are made. It solved many problems. Like it solved the uh, rejecting a transplant from a body. Then how it is the thing has been considered. Suppose a person is suffering from some lungs problem or any organ which is getting failure is taking place inside somebody's bodies. Okay, somebody's body. So what is happening, they are in a need of a new organ. So how this new organ can be obtained? This new organ can be obtained if the clone is already established. Then you can import the organ from that body. So the chances of rejection by the body is very less. Rejection means your body, when any foreign substance enters your body, there are chances that your body will reject the new cell. So if cloning is considered, cloning eliminates the rejecting a transplant, and it also solves the scarcity of your organ scarcities. Okay, these are in favor of human cloning, but a group of bioethicists are also in against this human cloning. What they are saying? They are saying that critics fear that the process will produce an onslaught of severely disabled children since the cloning process has not been perfected. As well, they fear that cloning humans for their body parts will produce human farming and the killing of clones for their vital organs. What does it mean? Suppose a clone is formed from a human body, there is a chances that that human being will be killed for their organs. So there are chances of killing of human farming may be done. Human farming means when you are trading for human body. Okay, so and there are critics that maybe the next generation of the clone are not capable of producing equally important organisms. Okay, so these are the problems which are faced when we are considering the human cloning issues in under the eye of the bioethicists. Okay, now after human cloning, the next important uh, issues which we need to address is the stem cell research. Stem cell research is very important subject which deals with the production of stem cells and which mainly works in the regeneration of the cells from a your pluripotent cells. So this aspect of stem cell research is very important. Okay, so what does this topic is explaining you? Stem cells are capable of multiplying themselves through mitotic cell division, and embryonic stem cells even possesses the ability to differentiate into a range of specialized cell types. This makes them incredibly valuable to disease research. The controversy surrounds the use of these embryonic cells. Okay. Now, before moving on to the controversies, let me explain what just a few lines about what is stem cell research. Actually, stem cell research is a very broad topic. It is not possible to explain the aspects in such a short time, but we can get an idea what is this stem cells. Now, the example of the most common stem cell is our embryonic stem cells. That means our abdominal embryonic cells, which we are inheriting from our parents. So, this cells possesses the character to differentiate into different type of cell types. What happens, we all know that when a cell is replicating, it is always producing a replica of itself. Okay, but the stem cells are have the quality or have the property that they can differentiate into different type of cell types. That means suppose a cell stem cell is there, it can differentiate into different type of cells, like suppose skin cells, suppose your some important organ cells. All these are being your considered under the stem cell research. Okay, so what happens when your cell regenerates into different type of cell? This important property is very much helpful when we are considering the disease research. Suppose you are considering the treatment of a very dangerous disease. Okay, so now what are the problems associated with the stem cell research? What are the opposing points? Supporters, first of all, let us consider the supporters. Supporters see the potential research has is curing disease such as Parkinson's disease. As I have mentioned, the stem cell research has huge application in your disease research. Okay, so what happens in Parkinson disease? Beside Parkinson disease, there are many diseases which are cured by the stem cell research. Okay, so the stem cell research are basically what happens. They are capable of curing different type of diseases, as well as the majority of embryos used for research are left over from in vitro fertility treatments are on their way to being destroyed anyways. Okay, so what happens, suppose a particular cell is there and where it is forming different type of cells. Okay, it is differentiating into different cells. Your embryonic cells are anyway destroyed, but if you can preserve them, it actually nowadays stem cell banks are there. It is very nowadays it is very prevalent that when you are giving birth to a baby, then you are asked to preserve your stem cells, because your embryonic stem cells you can preserve in their stem cell bank. It is type of a bank where the stem cells are preserved. Why you are preserving your stem cell? Because suppose you are attacked by some disease in future, you can use those cells to regenerate your own cell. So nowadays these cells are preserved when we are going for the different type of treatments. Okay, so these are everything in for of our stem cell research. Now in against what the bioethicists are telling, most of the opponents are also pro-life on abortion. They see the embryo as the potential for new life and destruction of some embryos as the destruction of life. Okay, these are totally a new, I mean, it is a different concept. What is happening here is that they are considering each embryonic cell as a new life. They are considering each and every embryonic cell is capable of forming a new life, a new human being. So if you are destroying each of the cells, then that means you are against the human ethics, like you are destroying human cells or you are destroying a potent human being. So these are all the points against the stem cell research. Okay, so this is a very debatable topic, whether stem cell research should be considered or not, it should be continued or not. Very much debatable situations are going on, but nowadays stem cell research is very important. You cannot consider the opposition, you have to look onto the benefits of stem cell research. Okay, so this is about one of the important issues. Now moving on to the next important issues is transgenic animal production. So this another important ethical issue is the transgenic animal production. Transgenic animal production is very important because you can form new varieties of animals by breeding among themselves. So when you are breeding it, you are getting a new variety, and the new variety has some new property, and that property is always helpful to a particular human being. Okay, so transgenic animal production is very important while we are considering our bioethical aspects. Okay, so what is happening with the transgenic animal production animals? Transgenic animals suffer from abnormalities uh, than regular research animals. The introduction of DNA into an animal can be very complex, and the possible side effects can be difficult to predict. So, 2 points are punched up here. What happens? Transgenic animals are not that fit or not that capable of conducting your normal activities like that of your normal human being. So, what happens here? The introduction of DNA into the animal can be very complex, and the side effects can be difficult to predict. What is happening? Transgenic animals, when are produced, what is happening? You are incorporating new DNAs, incorporating new genetic material into another animal. So this process is very complex, isn't it? And this complex process can lead to a difficult process and also lead to a different side effects. So it is very important that transgenic animals should be considered with great care, and these bioethical issues need to be considered because as the process is very complex, there are chances of errors, and translating animals are not that healthy or not that equally compatible with the original variety. Okay, these are the problems. Mutations highly affect specific metabolic processes or cell receptors without actually resulting in disease. Okay, so what happens when mutations occur to form the transgenic animal production? Highly specific metabolic processes are or cell receptors without actually resulting in the disease are there. Suppose you are treating some diseases along with this transgenic animals, so there are chances that it will affect specific metabolic processes or cell receptor without the production of the disease. So these are some of the problems we are facing, some of the ethical issues we are facing when we are considering the transgenic animal production. Okay, so this is also an important issue for our bioethical concepts. Okay, so the next important bioethical issues is your genetically modified organisms. Okay, that is your GMO. Genetically modified organisms is known to you people. It is a well known topic in your class. Two of your students has presented on this topic, the bad effects and the benefits and risk of the GMOs. We are considering this portion now. GMO, genetically modified crops, okay, crops or organisms, is very important because this is one of the most important discovery of biotechnology. This discovery led to a revolutionary effect on the agriculture and many aspects of our life. So GMO invention has led to many controversies, has led to many objections among different classes of people, and it has, as it has some benefits, it has also called for a n number of problems. Okay, so there are many problems we are facing when we are going for the GMOs. Okay, Now, before going on to the problems and risk of genetically modified organisms, first of all, let me tell you some of the important GMOs. The most important GMO is the golden rice. We all know that rice modified with daffodil genes to have more beta carotene, which converts to vitamin A. So, what happens? Gold rice plant is induced by some gene of daffodil genes which are capable of producing beta carotene. What is beta carotene? Beta carotene is the main important pigment of carrot actually, which is very much rich in vitamin A. We all know about vitamin A, which and carrot is very rich in vitamin A. You all remember that we are advised to eat carrots when we are in need of vitamin A. So carrots are the gene of carrots are being induced into the rice variety, and the golden rice is formed, which is very much rich in vitamin A. So this is one of the important genetically modified crops actually. Then salt resistant tomatoes. Tomatoes modified to grow well in saline soils. That means tomato generally does not grow in saline soil, but some uh, saline soil resistant genes are being implanted in these tomatoes, and the tomato can grow in any region. So saline water people can also grow tomatoes. Now bt corn is very important to genetically modified organisms. Corn modified with a bacterial insecticide gene so that it produces insect toxins within its cells. Okay, so bt corn, what happens, some insecticides are destroying the corns from time immemorial. To solve this problem, what they do, they induce some insect toxins within the cell of the corn. So these insect toxins, when the insect are biting the corn, they are intaking those insect toxins in their body and they are dying. So these bacterial insecticides genes are being incorporated in the corn, and this BT corn are capable of avoiding the problems of your insecticide. So this is another important genetically modified organisms. Then factor 9 sheep. Sheep modified with human clotting factor 9 gene so that they produce clotting factor in their milk for hemophiliacs. Okay. So this is also a very important discovery. What happened? Factor 9 is a clotting factor. You know about clotting factor as you have, I am assuming that you have read about the clotting factors in the blood. These clotting factors are responsible for blood clotting. That means when you are bleeding, your bleeding stops naturally. So your blood gets clotted. So this clotting of blood will lead to the factor 9 gene incorporation. So this gene are being introduced to the sheep, and the sheep will produce the milk containing the factor 9. And when this milk is being taken by hemophiliacs, that means hemophilia is a disease in which the person is not capable of clotting their own blood. So this hemophiliacs, when consume this milk, will be able to incorporate the factor 9 in their bodies. So the chances of hemophiliac symptoms are less. Okay. So Roundup ready soy. Ready soy means soybeans. Okay. Roundup means with a herbicide resistant gene, so that the farmers can spray fields and kill weeds, not soybean plants. Herbicide resistant gene. Herbicide, you all know the chemicals which will kill the weeds. Okay, so herbicide resistant, that means the soybean plant are resistant to some spraying of insecticides into their body. So they will, when the farmer will spray the insecticides in the fields, and they will not kill, they will only kill the weeds and they will not kill the soybean. So this type of soybean, the name is Roundup Ready soy. Okay. And the last one, the rainbow papaya. Papaya means the pepe. That is the known vegetable we are eating. The papaya modified with viral genes that make it immune to papaya ring spot virus. Okay. So papaya ring spot virus is a very detrimental virus which is attacking the papaya plant and rotting it. Okay, a ring type of a spot is formed in the body of the body of the papaya plant. So this papaya plant can avoid this virus by introduction of some viral genes into the body of the papaya. So this papaya, they called it rainbow papaya. This variety they name given to the new variety. So this papaya are resistant to ring spot virus, and they are capable of fighting against this uh, virus which is attacking them. So students, this is all about your different type of genetically modified organisms. We will move on to the next pros and cons of this GMOs in the next slides. In the next class, we will try to explain you this the other issues of the genetically modified organisms. Okay, there are many things you need to consider in this aspect, like your sorry, like what are the pros, I mean the what are the benefits of the GMO crops, what are the economical and social issues, and then what are the problems we are facing with the risk of the GMOs. All these things will be considered when we are talking about the genetically modified organisms. Okay,